In today's lesson, we're going to introduce the subject of trigonometry. And our objective today is going to be to find the measure of an angle in degrees, which I believe you're all real familiar with, or radians, which is another unit of measurement. And then also to find what we call coterminal angles. So it's very important to realize right now that an angle in trigonometry is defined as an angle that has an initial ray, which as you can see here goes straight to the right or to the east. And then we're going to rotate this ray, and if we rotate it in this counterclockwise direction, that would be a positive angle. And if we would rotate this in a clockwise, then that would be a negative angle. So if I would want to write an angle of, let's say, 75 degrees, I would start with this initial ray. I'd rotate in a positive direction, which is counterclockwise, 75 degrees, and that angle would be about in that position. If I wanted to have an angle of, let's say, a negative 210 degrees, I would start in this initial ray position. I would rotate in a clockwise direction. And this would be 90 degrees, 180, and then I'd go another 30 degrees. So a negative 210 would be represented by an angle in this position. Now, we're going to measure angles in different units of measurement. One of those being a complete revolution, which is a circle all the way around, which I believe you're familiar with is 360 degrees in a circle. So if we have a half a revolution, then we have 180 degrees, because that would form a straight line, and there's 180 degrees in a line. Now, as far as degrees go, I think you realize that a degree is a pretty small unit of measurement, and there's 360 of those degrees in a revolution, and so on. But we can also be a little bit more precise by breaking each degree into 60 other smaller units of measurement, which would be called minutes. So it would be 60 minutes in a degree, and then even more precise, in 1 minute, there are 60 what we call seconds. So you might see an angle written as, let's say, 32 degrees, 14 minutes, and 39 seconds. Okay, which would mean the same as 32 degrees, 14 minutes would be 14/60ths of a degree, and then the 39 seconds would be 3600, because there would be 3600 seconds in a 1 degree. And then if I just put this in my calculator, I took 32 plus 14/60ths plus 39 over 3600. I could change this to a decimal, which would be like 32.24 degrees. So that's if you want to be really precise in a unit of measurement of degrees. Radians. Now this is defined as the number of radius units in the length of arc AB. So for example, if I start with this angle and I rotate this, in this situation, And this would have to be on a circle. So if I have a circle like this is my radius. If that radius is the same as this arc length, that would be considered 1 radian. As you can kind of see from here, 1 radian is approximately, this is just an estimate, is approximately 60 degrees. Now, we can also define this as theta being the arc length divided by the radius. And if you think of an entire circle all the way around here, this arc length is the circumference of this circle. And that circumference is defined as, we use pi d or 2 pi r. And if we divide that by the radius, we get a total, or 1 revolution, to be 2 pi radians. And pi being 3.14. So 2 pi is the exact unit of something that's about 6.28. But 6.28 or 2 pi radians would be exactly 360 degrees. And therefore, we can build off of this. So pi would be 180 degrees then. Half of pi, half of 180 would be 90 degrees. A third of pi would be 60 degrees. A fourth of pi would be 45. And a sixth of pi would be 30 degrees. Now, these are going to be very, very important when we start converting, because we should be able to recognize that pi is 180. So if I'm talking about an angle of, let's say, 5 pi over 2, I can think of this pi over 2 as 180 divided by 2, which is 90. And 5 times 90 would be 450 degrees. Or if I had, let's say, 7 pi over 3, I'd look at this pi over 3 as 180 divided by 3, which is the 60. 7 times 60 then would be 420 degrees. So if an angle is given in terms of pi, you could just put pi in for 180, use these commonly used angles to quickly convert from radians to degrees. And there will be a second video now which will continue to work on the conversions and the coterminal angles.